This is Sports Federation TV. If you've just tuned in, you've missed the first segment where we chatted to the Special Advisor for the UN on Sports, Mr. Wilfried Lemke. We now move our attention to something different. As you know, one of our partners on the show is the Western Cape Provincial Sport Confederation. One of its members is the Western Cape Archery. We join in studio by Alfredo. How are you, Alfredo?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Alton.
Western Cape Archery is the overarching body, excuse the pun, of archery in the Western Cape.
Correct.
Where and what do you guys actually do?
Well, we're the governing body for archery in the Western Cape. There are many codes that cater to a varied disciplines of archery. So whatever it is that you want to do in archery, however you want to approach the sport, there is something out for you, both disabled and abled, and whatever your fun or serious level is, we're going to be able to cater for you.
And I mean, most people perceive archery as a really expensive sport. Is it really as expensive as people perceive it?
Again, it depends on your level that you want to participate in. If you want to go to the Olympics, yes, it's going to get very expensive. If you look at behind the line, when the guys are shooting on those pretty pictures that came out of the Sambadrome, they have invariably had two bows behind them. Because if there's a fault with one, you don't have time to fix it. You simply grab the other one. And it's going to be set up exactly the same way. So it gets expensive very quickly. However, down on the ground, we can do it very, very inexpensively, down to a level where they've used PVC piping to construct bows from. But it won't get you to the Olympics for those bows. But it will certainly be able to have a fun day and be competitive and be very therapeutic. I always think of archery as a therapeutic sport in many ways.
Because you're out in the open enjoying, in most cases, a windless day, a little bit of sun.
But I mean, Cape Town.
Yeah, but I mean, that's part of the challenge in your sport. You need to negotiate the elements on the day.
Correct. And that's part of what we teach, want to teach people, is that you overcome the obstacles in your own being to master the sport. And part of what you overcome as well is that elements.
Yes.
So you master the bow, you have to master yourself, you master the bow, and you master the environment and what gets thrown your way.
For sure.
So much so, in the one example that I use often is, especially if you look at the pictures come out of the Paralympics, you think that you'd have to have two hands, two arms. We had a representative, Sean Anderson, who went and shot at the Paralympics. A man from America, Mark Stutzman, has no arms.
Yes.
He shoots with his feet. So if you want to do it, we can certainly find a way to assist you in getting there. And if you want to do it only socially, that's fine too. If you want to do it expensively, that's fine too. There are methods of doing it inexpensively, but if you want to go to those big name events, unfortunately, the dollars are going to fly out.
For sure. I mean, we've had some huge successes at the Olympics and Paralympics right now in Rio. Give us one or two highlights.
Well, on a technical level, we had a international judge, Charmaine Ho, from Gauteng, who represented South Africa on the line. Although when they go to the Olympics, they're not from South Africa. They're just an international judge. And then we had a gent from the Eastern Cape, Dave Martin, who went to the Paralympics. And in fact, he's at another event in Europe as we speak. So on a technical level, technical official level, that's been great for the country. And I certainly aspire to get there at one stage myself. Yeah,
lots of hard work. Lots of hard work.
Lots of hard work. On an athlete level, Sean Anderson has gone to the Paralympics for us, and we have a lady from the Western Cape, in fact, in Australia at a town called Wagga Wagga, and she's shooting more in a forest type setting. If you are at all aware of the IFA code of shooting, they shoot outdoors a lot in natural settings rather than the very flat, same level settings that the World Archery guys do. And at the moment, she's leading the field in her style. She posted on Facebook an interesting little incident where one of the targets they shot in, they had to stop because a herd of kangaroos hopped between her and the target, so they had to stop for obvious reasons. But it really is a support for all, and those examples are what we push towards our youngsters, which is the big thing that we like at the moment, is that our youngsters are looking towards those examples and aspire to those possibilities. That carrot is very much alive and performing well for us.
Talking about the youngsters, how big is your contingent in the Western Cape, membership-wise?
The contingent in the Western Cape varies, especially with the youngsters, varies greatly because youngsters are dependent on their parents to get to events. If their parents can't cart them around, it's very difficult to get them around. You get things like exams and maths Olympiads and all these kinds of things that impact on their time, and they have to, for obvious reasons, pay attention to that. So we sometimes have a little gap in between the very young guys and the guys when they come into competing age. But we've got a growing number of very young youngsters who are doing rather well for the sport and saying, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll die," but they'll fill that hole.
Yeah, and in terms of club structure, where can people find out, or how can people compete, or just come and experience archery? We are clubs or places where people can shoot.
We are fortunate in this province in that we are represented in all but one of the districts, and you can go and look at. There's various ways. You can go to the National Federation site, and there's find a club near you, and you literally drill down what province you're in, and it quickly takes you to possible clubs. Otherwise, it's the same on the provincial website. Otherwise, phone the province, and we'll certainly direct you, or log a query on the Facebook site or the website. Say, listen, I'm not sure where I am. Where's the club near me? And there are various clubs that offer beginner sessions, normally on a Saturday, and so you don't have to go and spend lots of money going to buy equipment. You go to one of these clubs that have club bows that you can rent. You rent the equipment, you rent a coach for 3+ hours. See whether this is something that you like, whether you're comfortable with this, and you then ask the members around there, rather than digging yourself into a bow with cost that is maybe not suited for you for a sport that you may feel, no, that was fine for 1 or 2 tries, but maybe not to compete in.
You brought an example of a specimen, and I'll use that term loosely. What would a setup like this cost? I mean, this is a beautiful bow with the level and everything. What does something like this cost?
This bow, in today's money, you're roughly looking at about 7,000 rand standing on the floor at the moment. The bow itself costs about 4.5 if you're lucky. The sight over here costs 2.5. So very quickly the dollars rack up. But if you make decisions properly about selecting what parts of equipment you want, you can take most of these equipment onto any bow in the future. Yes. So as you develop, you
upgrade bits and pieces.
You can upgrade bits and pieces rather than all the equipment from the start.
Yeah.
Also, this bow in particular is a bow that you can grow with. So if you had a youngster that doesn't know whether he's going to go, and you want to make a decision about what to buy, you can buy this bow, and as he grows, because mother feeds him and suddenly his arms is 5 meters longer than it should be, you can set that bow to the different sizes that as he grows, so the bow grows with him.
Let's look at explain the target card to me, because you have different colors there. How does it work?
The target card that's reflected over there is an indoor vertical 3-spot, as it's called. It has yellow, red, and blue on it. In the yellow, you'll see there's a circle in there, and inside the circle is 10. Outside that circle is a 9, and that particular face is for the recurve bow, For a compound bow, that circle is half that size.
Okay.
And you'll be shooting at that thing from at that target from 18 meters. So it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And you'll be shooting one arrow at each circle. And the reason for that is when the guys get really accurate, they start Robin Hooding themselves. They actually shoot one arrow into the back of the other arrow,
Sure.
which becomes very expensive.
Yes.
And because you invariably have to buy a set of arrows, which is 12.
And they don't come cheaply, because
They
particularly if
don't
you're
come
having
Correct.
carbon points and everything else that goes with it.
There you got all those things to go with it. So that's what you shoot as an indoor, but you go from that to a 122 centimeter wide face that you shot at the Olympics.
Yes.
If you watch any of the Olympics, that was 122 centimeter face. That was 70 meters away from the athlete that was shooting the
So what are the distances? You spoke about 18 and then...
Yes, look, indoors there's either 18 or 9 meters. 9 meters for the under 13 little pickies.
Yeah.
They shoot at that distance, make them available, makes them able to reach that kind of distances. Outdoors, it's age-appropriate distances, but the maximum distance for a man would be 90 meters. So you shoot 36 arrows at 90,
Sure.
36 at 70, 36 at 50, 36 at 70 for a day.
Yo, how does your arm feel after that?
If you do it properly, not so bad.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing why we want you to bring you into a club, so you can experience a low poundage bow, get the technique done, and then as you grow with the sport, you up the ante with the equipment that you buy.
Definitely.
That's really what it is.
Alfredo, you've given us lots of information. We'll have you back with one of your athletes in the near future. Come tell us, showcase some of your athletes who are at the world stage right now.
Fantastic.
Bring them back, come show us some of the medals that they've achieved, even some of the technical excellence. And they can catch all the information on which website?
At the moment, it's www.wparchery.org.
Alfredo, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Let's take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll be chatting gymnastics. See you now.